We have a lot of things here. We have the boys club, but it needs to be gotten bigger. We have some businesses here that are probably pretty good. Of course, there's a lot of businesses here, Timkins and Ashland, and overall, this area is a good area. Like I said, they just need more strengthening of neighborhood things and more patrol officers, and getting kids motivated and involved in things younger, because if you let them go too long, then of course things are bad when they get older, so we want to try to get them at a younger age. I believe that's where it all should need to start. I've really seen there's some areas that everybody does know all their neighbors, but then again, there's areas where people don't know their neighbors. There's a lot of them rental units, people are moving in and out, but I do ask everybody that too. I said, well, do you know your neighbor here? Do you know your neighbor here? Because if you know your neighbors, I think things are safer and better on that block or neighborhood, because like around here, I know all three neighbors all around me, and we all look out for each other. Like we go on vacation, we take care of each other, we help each other if we need help. So yes, I think that would be a big thing to get everybody. And I don't try to make them feel guilty, but I try to tell them, do you know your neighbor? There's neighborhood organizations. I also try to make them feel, I call them star voters. People don't vote. There's, say, 577 people in Precinct E, Ward 5. Only 38 people voted in the primaries last year out of 577. So I said, well, Miss Miller, you didn't vote last year in the primary. You didn't get a star this year, So I try to increase voter awareness so more people vote. So, because people's votes do count. And like I said, if everybody sticks together, you can get more positive things done.
It's generational. Everybody stays. Everybody knows each other down there, which is really rare. You don't get that as much in a lot of other parts of town. The guy I live next door to, his son bought the house behind him. The people that I bought my house from moved to the house right behind me, and his aunt lives right beside him. And you get that all over the neighborhood. Are people who never leave. They don't want to move somewhere else. They like the neighborhood. We've got a lot of empty houses that need torn down. I was just working with the community development director, Fonda Williams, the other day. There's a house that's been empty for 4 years. They boarded it up, kids broke back in. They boarded it up again, kids broke back in. 4 years. All the pipes have been ripped out, everything else. We got to knock those down. Okay, well that's the easy short-term answer. Here's the thing that drives me. I live across the street from an elementary school. It's built fairly recently. They tore down the old one, built a new one. The school actually does pretty well. The repository did an article a couple years ago about of all urban elementary schools, this is one of the best performing. That's the good part. If you read a little further down in the article, you'll see that according to the state, 90% of those kids that go to that school are economically disadvantaged. I think that's what we've got to get. We've got to break this cycle of poverty among young people, because we're damning an entire generation of kids to institutional poverty. We can't do it. That's a death sentence for the city.